Can you tell us, did you kill Kiera?
I did not. Kiera's been missing since August 4th, which was my birthday, and we've been trying to do everything we can to find out what's going on and see if we can make some link to get her back or find anything about what's going on.
Do you find the defendant as to count 1, second-degree murder, Kiera Bergman?
This is the story of Kiera Bergman, aged 19, a young lady whose body was discovered in the rural desert area not too long after she relocated from San Diego, California in order to be close to her boyfriend Jon-Christopher Clark. Jon was the last person to see her after she left work on that fateful day and was also caught on camera taking out money out of her ATM card the same day she went missing and then later using her card to purchase gasoline. But after a very lengthy trial, the jury made a very shocking decision.
On the 7th, still his phone is connecting to Alonzo's IP address. And then, whoop, so does Kiera's. It connects to Alonzo's IP address. Nobody's seen her. She's not there.
Hello and welcome to Twisted Crimes. Subscribe and hit the like button for more stories.
A mother pleading for her teenage daughter's safe return. Kiera Bergman has been missing since Saturday, last seen at her home near 51st Avenue in Thunderbird.
Her mother claims that Bergman's boyfriend said he was with her the day she disappeared.
This story will be taking us to Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix is the capital and the largest city in the U.S. state of Arizona. It is the 6th most populated city in the United States, even though it is mostly a desert city. It is known for its year-round sun, desert beauty, and world-class resorts and golf, and also offers sophisticated urban scapes, Southwest culture and lots of outdoor adventure. Kiera Bergman, aged 19, was a young lady who lived in El Cajon, California when she met a young man by the name Jon-Christopher Clark who lived in Phoenix, Arizona. Kiera went to school and graduated at the Quimica College. Friends and family described her as funny, talented, and extremely loyal. She was a loving, nice and sweet person.
Holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of a dear Savior's birth.
That was a rare video of her singing on her first year in school. She was loved by everyone around her. Being a great person made it easy for her to find a good relationship. The relationship between her and Jon was nice from the beginning, and due to this she decided to move closer to him in Phoenix, Arizona. She left her family behind and moved down to Phoenix, Arizona. Things started changing when she got there. Jon began to exhibit the trait of a controlling person. Jon, who sometimes dresses as a clown, had a history of maltreating Kiera, including instances in which he restrained her by putting his hand on her chest and throat. At a point in time, Kiera would consider going back to her family in California, but it never happened. On August 4th, she was last seen leaving work near her home by 51st Avenue and Thunderbird Road when she was picked up from work by her on and off boyfriend, Jon-Christopher Clark. Then she suddenly vanished. No one heard from her until when her roommate Destiny Hall-Chand received a strange text message. The text message reads that she was going to go out with some guy that she met at the store a couple of days ago. Her roommate noticed that was unusual of her. Her family was informed and the search for her ensued.
A mother pleading for her teenage daughter's safe return. Kiera Bergman has been missing since Saturday, last seen at her home near 51st Avenue in Thunderbird.
Her mother claims that Bergman's boyfriend said he was with her the day she disappeared. Team 12's Adam Bagney spoke with her family today. He's live in the Alert Center. And Adam, what have you learned?
Well, Caribe Joe, her mom says 19-year-old Kiera Bergman just recently moved to Arizona with her boyfriend. She says her roommate called her earlier this week saying she hadn't seen Kiera for days. Now she says she's trying not to think the worst.
I'm so scared for her right now out there, not knowing where she is or what she's going through.
Kirsten Bragg is just trying to keep it together. Her San Diego-based family held up at a Glendale hotel as they desperately await word on her daughter, Kiera Bergman, the 19-year-old missing since the weekend.
It breaks my heart just not knowing where she is and what's happening to her, if anything.
The family says Kiera hasn't been seen in public since she left work early at this Glendale leasing company Saturday. At her nearby apartment complex, they say her purse, wallet, and car were left behind.
I'm trying to think positive. I'm trying to think that she is out there and she's either okay or she's I don't know what to think.
Police say the investigation is in its earliest stages and that right now they have more questions than answers.
Her disappearance is unique in that we don't have any answers and no leads as to where she might currently be, and this is out of character for her to not speak with their friends or family.
And that's the family's biggest worry. Insisting Kiera's disappearance just doesn't make any sense.
If she wants to be gone for a day, she'll at least let somebody know, and once she'll at least contact somebody.
I'm very scared. I just want her home.
They did all they could to get her back. There was a large group of people trying to help online, but there was no luck. The police declared her missing at that point. They instantly contacted John when they learned he was the last person to have seen her alive. When police interviewed John and found that he was the last person to see her alive on the night of her disappearance, they obtained a search warrant for his car. While they didn't find any evidence relating to Kiera's disappearance, they did find multiple personal identification documents that did not belong to John. That led to John's arrest on 22 counts of aggravated identity theft and 2 counts of forgery, all of which are unrelated to Kiera's disappearance. Before his arrest, he tried to be helpful by talking to media outlet, but some people were still suspicious of him.
Kiera's been missing since August 4th, which was my birthday, and we've been trying to do everything we can to find out what's going on and see if we can make some link to get her back or find anything about what's going on. We go back to the house and then we chill. She's trying to keep me in good spirits because it's my birthday, but I was kind of sad because we weren't really doing anything. And then we just started getting to little bickering and arguing, and then she got upset and then she left. I was trying to message her, trying to contact her, get her to come back to the house, and I wasn't really getting a response. And then Sunday goes by, I'm still messaging her all day. I'm messaging her friend Destiny. I'm not really getting a response from either one of them. And then on Monday morning, she had to be at work at 6:30. I started messaging both of them around 5, asking like, what's going on? Does Kiera need me to take her to work? Like, what's going on? And then Destiny told me that she still haven't heard from her, that she still didn't come back to the house. So I let her know. I was like, okay, well, if she doesn't go to work, I think we should file a missing persons report, call the police. I was surrounded by about 20 police officers. They told me that they had a court order to bring me down and speak with me, but from the moment that they encountered me, they pretty much treated me like a suspect. They had me in handcuffs. They put me in the back of the car. They drove me down to the station. When I was in the interview room, I was handcuffed to the table, and they let me go that night. I'm not in connection with anything, and then since then, her family still wants to put blame on me and still wants to accuse me and say negative things about me in regards to everything. I just feel like her family is kind of just looking for someone to blame and someone to bring them answers or someone to just bring conclusion to everything. And then since I am her boyfriend and I was the last one to be with her, her mom mainly just really wants to blame me for everything. I had nothing to do with anything that's going on. I love Kiera with all my heart. I want her to come home. Please come home, Kiera. I love you.
They asked him for a polygraph test, which he refused, citing, "I didn't want to do anything that would give the indication I was hiding anything." He was later charged with murder within the hour. During their investigation, bank records confirmed that on the day Bergman disappeared, John withdrew $500 from her bank account and then used her debit card to pay for gasoline. Also on the afternoon of August 4th, Kiera and her ex-boyfriend, 23-year-old Jon-Christopher Clark, were arguing at her apartment, which most likely could be why something happened to her. Kiera and John's phones only worked when connected to Wi-Fi, but while Kiera was missing, her phone was still connecting to her apartment Wi-Fi and John's friend Alonzo's Wi-Fi where John was staying. On the 7th, still his phone is connecting to Alonzo's IP address. And so does Kiera's phone. But how is she not there and her phone was connected? The detectives wondered. John was charged with murder soon after.
He is accused of killing his ex-girlfriend, Kiera Bergman, back in 2018. Bergman was just 19 years old when she vanished from her West Phoenix apartment. Police say Clark kept her cell phone and used it to pose as Kiera to text a friend. About a month after her disappearance, her body was found near State Route 85 in Buckeye, west of Phoenix, a rural part of the city. In September, John was arrested and charged with second-degree murder and tampering with evidence. But the issue was that no murder weapon was ever discovered, and her cause of death was undetermined. Detectives never found DNA on Kiera's remains or at the crime scene. They were not even able to determine the cause of death.
Prosecutor only banked on the fact that he was an abusive and manipulative boyfriend. Also, he was the last one to see her alive, and they say her cell phone was turned on days after she was last seen, and it connected to the same Wi-Fi as John's phone. Police believe the boyfriend continued using her phone, but it was never found. But they still went to trial.
Bergman murder trial today, 4 years ago, after the 19-year-old went missing in Phoenix. Her body found in the desert a month later. Her ex-boyfriend, Jon Clark, is charged with second-degree murder. True Crime Arizona's Brianna Whitney was in the courtroom today for opening statements. She also spoke with Kiera's family.
Kiera's family has waited so long for their day in court after lots of changes and complications with this case since 2018. Today set the tone for the entire trial. The prosecution zeroing in on cell phone records and the defense team focusing on a lack of DNA evidence and an undetermined cause of death.
Her disappearance and death made national headlines in 2018 when Kiera Bergman's family searched for the teen. Now, her family back in Phoenix, only this time in a courtroom.
It's kind of, I don't know if the word I want to use is surreal, but I mean, we're sitting in there now, like it's happening. So I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Like
driving here, 18-hour drive, had a long time to think about stuff. It's very difficult.
Kiera went missing after her ex-boyfriend, Jon Clark, picked her up from work in West Phoenix that August day. He admitted to police he and Kiera had an argument and he was going to stay with a friend, but says Kiera stormed out of the apartment. He says he did not kill her. Her body was found by mountain bikers in the desert a month later. Kiera was last seen alive in this surveillance footage, leaving work in a mission-based sweatshirt when Jon picked her up. Prosecutors revealed today she was wearing that same sweatshirt when her body was found. Prosecutors said Kiera and Jon's phones only worked when connected to Wi-Fi, and said while Kiera was missing, her phone was still connecting to her apartment Wi-Fi and Jon's friend Alonzo's Wi-Fi, where Jon was staying.
On the 7th, still his phone is connecting to Alonzo's IP address. And then, whoop, so does Kiera's. It connects to Alonzo's IP address. Nobody's seen her. She's not there.
Meanwhile, the defense said physical evidence is weak or non-existent, that no cause of death was ever determined, no gunshot or stab wounds or blunt force trauma was found on her body, and nothing incriminating was found in their apartment or Jon's car.
We have an apartment where the state believes there was a murder on August 4th. We have no DNA. You've heard no blood.
Kiera's mom and sister say the hardest part is having to relive it all.
The thing that got me was seeing the last known picture of her. Made me kind of cry.
But say they're keeping their focus on justice for Kiera.
After weeks of back and forth between the prosecutors and defense and also a lengthy murder trial of 4 years, the jury finally reached a conclusion. The jury returned with a not guilty verdict. It was a shock to her families and friends.
My name is about to be cleared.
Do you think it's going to come back a not guilty verdict?
Yes, I do.
His prediction becoming reality. Jon-Christopher Clark found not guilty tonight in the murder of his ex-girlfriend, Kiera Bergman. It is a story that's gripped the valley for years, and now Kiera's family left without closure. ABC 15's Ashley Holden live outside the courthouse for us tonight. And Ashley, emotions certainly running high today.
Emotions definitely were. I was inside that courtroom when that not guilty verdict was read. Kiera's family very emotional, erupting in tears, sobbing. This verdict releasing years of emotion for everybody.
Do you find the defendant as to count 1, second-degree murder, Kiera Bergman, not guilty?
It was a courtroom of divided emotions Thursday. After 4 years, defendant Jon-Christopher Clark found not guilty on all counts, including murder in the death of his ex-girlfriend, Kiera Bergman.
She had just a huge, caring heart for anybody and everybody.
Chris Bragg, Kiera's father, spoke with ABC 15 back in August.
We're finally ready to get justice. Well, we've been ready to get justice the whole time.
Waiting since August of 2018, when the 19-year-old was reported missing, last seen at her home when she was picked up for work by her on and off again boyfriend Clark. Kiera's body was eventually found near State Route 85 in Buckeye. No murder weapon was ever discovered, no DNA was found at the crime scene, and detectives not even able to determine the cause of death, a reality Kiera's family knew.
We've got all kinds of evidence. Most of it's circumstantial from my understanding. There's no smoking gun per se.
After years of waiting, Kiera's family had to wait even longer. The verdict delayed as Clark rushed to the courtroom from another court date. He spoke to us as he made his way inside.
Can you tell us, did you kill Kiera?
I did not.
Minutes later, relief for Clark, while Kiera's family erupted into sobs. Some family members even leaving the courtroom, crying and yelling from the hallway. They didn't want to speak after. As for Clark, his attorneys walked him out saying he's always been innocent, and finding out who killed Kiera.
So just final word.
It was a sad ending for the family and friends of Kiera. Because the case is still open, the Maricopa County Attorney's Office can still re-indict John. However, it's unlikely that any such indictment will come soon enough. Our sincere condolence to the friends and families of Kiera Bergman. We do hope the best for them in the nearest future. We hope you do stay safe out there, and we will see you guys in the next video.